Hello everybody and welcome, this is Kat and today we are testing the Ohuhu alcohol markers. I've got this set of 24 skin tones and everybody else on the internet already did it. I want to be like the cool kids, so let's try it out. Ohuhu packages all their sets in this textile black bag, which is really nice because it protects the markers during shipping and it's also a nice thing to have to keep them stored and in order. I've never tried Ohuhu before, this is the first time I am trying any of their products. I do know that people rave about them and they have really good reviews, so I'm really excited to try them out. I'll pick one random marker just to show you guys how it looks like. The barrel is really nice, slick, it feels nice to the touch, it's very lightweight. The front has the logo and also they show you that this is a chisel tip and a brush tip. The caps have the color and also the color code named, but you don't get the color on the barrel, so make sure you don't lose those caps because there's no other way of telling the color of the marker. Overall, I'm really pleased with the aesthetics, but let's see how they perform. These are all the markers in the set and oh my gosh, they look so pretty, they look like candy. I'm so excited to try them out. You guys know that these are not new products, they came out quite a few years ago, but you also probably know my motto by now, which is Kat is absolutely always late to the party. I'm thinking maybe I should make this like a feature of my videos and I'll name one party I'm late to every time I make a new video. Also, a quick disclaimer before we start, I don't have much experience with alcohol markers. I've only played with Winsor & Newton brush markers before in a couple of occasions, so take everything I say with a grain of salt. I've got my color swatch chart already prepared and I've written all the names of all the colors. Also, there's a 25th marker in the set, which is a colorless blender, so I'm not gonna swatch that. I'm gonna swatch all the colors by doing 2 layers and the second layer will be only half of the grid, just to kind of get an idea of how the colors look when you layer them on top. Oh my gosh, I just realized something really cool about these markers. So if you see that silver line on the marker, that basically tells you that that end is the one that has the brush tip, so it makes it really easy. So it looks like pastel peach is basically the same color as warm gray. And the caps don't really seem to match the color. Barely beige is actually slightly pinkish. Ooh, powder pink, I like this one, it's really pretty. I'm not gonna show you the caps for all the colors, but keep in mind that most of them do not match. Oh my gosh, this fruit pink looks so delicious, I love it. This one is called honey but looks nothing like honey. Finally, a cap that matches, at least for the second layer. Pale mauve is anything but pale, I'm so confused. I am not gonna try to pronounce the name of this color, nope. Also, one thing I noticed is that the colors do change quite a bit after they dry out, so keep that in mind. Pale cherry pink is very pale. And here we have the infamous potato brown. Drawing with waffles really likes this color and I see why. It's a very pretty, almost golden brown. I see why it would work great with hair, so yeah, I'm pleased with it. This one was definitely the surprise of the bunch. It's a very saturated orange, almost neon-like. I don't know if they made a spelling mistake here, but this color is called yellow orch. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to read ochre. And the beautiful deep mahogany. This one made me laugh as well, it's called buttercup yellow. Again, spelling mistake. And terracotta. Dear Ohuhu, you need to hire someone to spell check the names of your colors, because this one, again, it has a spelling mistake. It's called cadmium yellow. Is this brun or brune? I like this more in color, I think it's gonna make a pretty mid-tone skin tone. Oh yes, this is definitely my favorite color of them all. Now this color really got me upset because I'm a bit of a, color name police. This is not a burnt sienna, this is more like a raw umber, to be honest, so if you go for a color name that's well established, you need to make sure it matches, because otherwise you're just confusing people, so Ohuhu, please pay more attention to the way you name your colors. Reddish yellow does look red, but you need to give it time to dry. Such a lovely color, it would make a great mid-tone. And the last color is hazelnut, not just one but multiple. So these are all the colors swatched, and now that I gave them enough time to dry, you can see how the colors did change and they look a bit different than when I initially swatched them. Almost all of them became more saturated after drying out, which is a really nice thing. I was really impressed and surprised by that. You heard me making fun of some of the colors, but I wasn't making fun of the markers themselves, just the color names, because some of them have spelling mistakes and some are just a bit misleading. The colors themselves are really good and I like them. There's great variety here, so you can definitely get a lot of skin tones done. The markers are really juicy, so the ink almost flows out of the barrel. It's really nice, it's really easy to layer, you don't really have to struggle to get any color on the paper. The brush tip was really nice, it behaved very well. I do like it because it's a bit stiffer than the Winsor & Newton brush markers, but I actually do prefer it being stiffer because it makes it a bit more steady, I guess. Time to sketch something with these markers, and the obvious choice would be to draw some people because this is a skin tone set, but you know, I don't like being obvious like that, so I'm gonna do something different. I'm gonna take inspiration from a fantasy novel that I read recently. It's called Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson. The story takes place in a fantasy world where all the plants are some shade of brown, and there is a very cool reason why they are like that, but I'm not gonna tell you guys because I don't want to give any spoilers in case you are interested in reading the book yourselves. So I'm gonna try and imagine how these plants look in the world of Mistborn, and I'm gonna do a couple of pencil sketches, and then when I'm confident enough I'll try and use the markers as well in a bigger illustration at the end of it. I'm starting with something easy, a plant that I feel it's not that complicated to draw. I don't know what it's called. It's one of those plants that almost everybody seems to have in their homes. I'm really bad with plants. For me they are big plant, small plant, and that's pretty much all I know about plants. So if you guys know what this is called, let me know in the comment section. It struck me one day while I was filming that I'm not actually giving you details about the references that I'm using, so starting now I'm gonna put in my description a link to the Pinterest board where I have all the references that I use in my videos. I'm sorry I haven't done it sooner, it just never came to mind, but for the sake of transparency I'm gonna start doing it. In the world of Mistborn, the climate is quite strange for reasons I can't disclose due to not wanting to give spoilers, but I was trying to remember if there was any reference of rain. I can't remember, it might have been. Also, I need to mention I've only read the first book, so I don't know what happens in the story later on. So I'm trying to draw a cactus because I'm thinking maybe there are parts of that world where the climate is drier, so it would make sense for them to have cactuses. Cactuses? I don't know what the plural is, sorry, please correct me. I bet you can tell I'm not vibing with this cactus. It kind of looks like a beach ball maybe, I don't know. I'm gonna try and correct it adding some spikes, but it's not my finest drawing, let's be honest. And we can't have this sketching session completed without doing some fantasy plants that I plucked from the deep dark corners of my brain. As a teenager I had this thing for fantasy plants. I would draw them in a sketchbook and I would pretend it's actually a textbook for a magical school, and I would draw all these plants and give them names, and I would write pages upon pages of all their properties and how can they be mixed with each other in order to create potions, and it was done just for fun. I wasn't actually using them for any kind of wall building, it was just fun. And this sketch takes me back to those lovely years when I had so much free time, I could do anything I wanted without a reason because I simply had the time to do it. Alrighty, I think I know what I want to draw. I'm gonna draw some succulents for the marker test, but I'm gonna do it off camera and I'll be right back. Discovery alert! I tested the markers on the sketches, and because I used an erasable pencil, I kinda expected the pencil to melt under the markers, but it did not. So we are going to have to erase the sketch before we actually put the markers on it because it's just gonna show through. I think I pressed too hard on the pencil, it's taking so much effort to delete all these lines. Oh my gosh, my hand hurts. Because I'm not very confident in my ability to use these markers, because I've never tried them before and I'm not very good with markers to begin with, I decided to go with some simple coloring. So I used 3 markers for each plant to shade, and it's more like a block coloring rather than a soft shading, just because it made me feel a bit more comfortable doing it like that. I'm layering from the lightest color to the darkest one, and I also used paper for the highlights just because that white gives it a bit more dimension. At first I thought I completely messed up the color selections because the colors were too much in contrast with each other, but the markers did dry down lighter and more bright, so I think it kind of worked in the end. I did say previously that the colors do dry down to a different shade, but I guess by the time I got to this point in the project I just forgot all about it and I had a brief moment of panic. I did struggle a bit to keep within the lines, at least at the beginning of the project, but that's because I wasn't really familiar with the brush tip. I also struggled a bit getting the fine lines, but again, it was my fault for not being really familiar with the markers. They worked fine once I got used to them and I had no real issues afterwards. I actually had to cheat a bit with this first succulent because I wasn't getting quite the contrast I wanted and I had to pick a different marker that wasn't within the color scheme. One big mistake I made was not to do the line art, and I know why I did it. I just got really excited about coloring with the markers and I completely forgot about the line art. It wasn't a big deal until I got to the second and the third succulent and the colors were too dark and I just completely lost the lines. I had to pretty much improvise and pretend I can see the lines when I clearly could not see them, so the petals really ended up being a bit different than the original sketch. In retrospect, I shouldn't have erased the pencil sketch marks because they would have been covered by the markers anyway, but I didn't know that at the time, obviously. So yeah, keep in mind the markers, especially the dark colors, are really pigmented and they will cover the sketch. Okay, I think this would be the perfect time to make an announcement, but well, actually, I do need to explain a couple of things before I give the actual announcement. Because I work a full-time job and YouTube algorithm loves consistency, I always film my videos about 2 or 3 weeks before they actually air on YouTube, just to give myself a buffer in case something happens and I can't film for 1 week. So by the time this video actually goes live on YouTube, I don't know what the situation will be with my channel. I would really love to do a giveaway for when I reach 100 subscribers. The reality is I have no idea when that's gonna happen. It might be, I don't know, 3 months from now or 3 years from now if I'm lucky. But giveaways are something that I'm really passionate about and I really want to do as often as possible. I want to reward you guys for being so nice and for watching my videos and for putting up with my stupid accent. But above all, I'm a big believer in being kind and generous by doing small acts of generosity. I'm not rich by any means, but I do consider myself extremely lucky to have a steady income and to be able to afford art supplies. Some of you watching might not be as fortunate as I am, and some of you watching might be, you know, well better off than I am, but that's not the point of the giveaway. This giveaway is not a charity, it's just my way of saying thank you and of giving something back. I've got many art supplies that I don't use because I either have more than one, or I've got things from the scroller boxes that I again don't use for various reasons, and I think instead of just keeping them to collect dust on a shelf, it's better to give them to someone who would really appreciate and enjoy them. So yeah, that was the announcement I wanted to make. There will be a giveaway when I reach 100 subscribers. Unfortunately, it's not really up to me when that's gonna happen, so I can't really promise you guys when the giveaway will take place, but there will definitely be a giveaway, and hopefully not too far in the future. Yay! Now that I said it, it's official, so come on, show me some excitement. And back to the subject of markers, I would love to know what you guys think about the Ohuhu markers. Have you tried them before? Do you have the skin tone sets or do you have the other sets? Are they worth the money in your opinion? And maybe do you have a different brand of markers that you prefer more? If markers are not your thing, but you are excited about the Mistborn series, I would love a discussion about that. Let me know what you think about the book in the comment section down below, and out of consideration for anyone who didn't read the books, please keep the discussion spoiler free. This is how it looks like with the line art, and it definitely brought the whole sketch together. There is some staining on the other side of the paper, but there is no bleed through to the previous page, which is really good. It's kinda expected with alcohol markers. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it useful. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, bye bye!